I've spoke about Venezuela in the last few of my shows, and it's becoming more of a serious thing. Donald Trump has now sunk 6 Venezuelan boats, killing over 30 people at this point, and it's pretty obvious that Donald Trump is trying to pick a fight with Venezuela and the president of Venezuela, Maduro. No matter what you think of Maduro, whether he's an autocratic leader or not, we, as the American government, have absolutely no fucking business messing with him. I know that they consider anything that's in our hemisphere America's backyard, but that is absolute horseshit. It is not our backyard. But I wanted to first touch on this. This is Maria Corina Machado. She just won the Nobel Peace Prize, and she has absolutely no fucking business having this goddamn thing. She's already dedicated it to Donald Trump, which should tell you everything that you need to know. And I've got an interview coming up with her, but I just wanted to touch on this. How Maria Corina Machado's Nobel Peace Prize could lead to war. Donald Trump did not get the Nobel Peace Prize, but that may be the only positive thing that can be said about this year's award, which went to Venezuela opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. In announcing the prize, the Nobel Committee lauded Machado as a brave and committed champion of peace and unifying figure in a political opposition that was once deeply divided. Now, here is the interview that I'm talking about. She goes on with Donald Trump Jr. Jesus Christ, man. I'm sure this is some riveting fucking news here, but I want to play you this because this woman says the quiet part out loud, and this is what I am nervous about. It's like playing chess. You're getting all of your pieces in order. And with Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth warring down there off the coast with, 10 military war vessels in the ocean right off the coast of Venezuela, them shooting down everything in sight. By the way, Donald Trump bragged about killing the fishing industry in Venezuela. People are fishing out there. They don't go fishing anymore. And he's like, yeah, but I wouldn't go fishing if I was you. Yeah, because you're fucking shooting them down. I have said it before and I'll say it again. It is against international law, and you could use the Coast Guard to pull these ships over and check the vessel out. And if they have drugs, arrest them. And then you get to do that whole propaganda thing where you get to stand at a table with all the drugs and say, see, look, we got rid of all these drugs and here are all these narco terrorists, which, by the way, yet again, another piece of propaganda. Donald Trump is under the impression he thinks that if you call him a terrorist, then that gives us carte blanche to be able to kill you without any due process. And ultimately, that's what Donald Trump wants. He doesn't want due process. He doesn't need evidence. He just kills indiscriminately against international law. But the fact that they are breaking it so brazenly and then bragging about it on television and then talking about how you're killing a fishing industry. Meanwhile, many of these people that have not come back because they've been blown up by military weapons, a lot of them have been fishermen. And even if you did get some drug dealers, how are we ever going to fucking know? If these people are trafficking drugs and you blow them out of the water, then you have absolutely no evidence, and it's at the bottom of the ocean. So you can't tell me that these people are trafficking drugs and they're terrorists if you have absolutely no evidence. Anyway, I want you to listen to this woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize, who is now having a conversation with Donald Trump fucking Jr.
About Saudi Arabia. Forget about the Saudis. We have more oil. Infinite potential. And we're going to open markets. We're going to kick off the government from the oil sector. We are going to privatize all our industry. Venezuela has huge resources, oil, gas, minerals, land, technology. And as you said before, we have a strategic location, hours from the United States. So we're going to do this right. We know what we have to do. And American companies are in, super strategic position to invest. This country, Venezuela, is going to be the brightest opportunity for investment of American companies, of good people that are going to make a lot of money.
Literally saying the quiet part out loud. Venezuela has the second largest oil reserve. It is pretty much their only export. And with American fuckery constantly fucking with them so they can't do those exports, you are desperately trying to throw the Venezuelan economy into a cocked hat in the hopes that the people will rise up against their own leadership, Maduro. America has been fucking with Venezuela since Chavez. Anybody that's even remotely liberal, and I'm not saying that Chavez was all good, but yet again, I repeat myself, we have absolutely no fucking business messing with them. But we do it all the time. We do it with Cuba. We do it with Venezuela. We do it with anybody who does not meet our needs. And that woman right there is saying, kick him out, put me in, and I will make sure that all of the wealthy American oil companies will have easy access. I will spread Venezuela's legs, and I will let America come inside, baby. Just give me the opportunity. And that is what I have been afraid of. This is the plan. I know I'm waxing conspiratorial over here, but ultimately the reason why we're doing this is because we want the goddamn oil. Don't let them tell you it's narco, terrorists, or anything about drugs. More drugs come from Colombia through Venezuela to get to America than it come out of fucking Venezuela. And don't give me this shit about Venezuela making fentanyl. That is absolutely untrue. None of that shit comes from Venezuela. So we have the Nobel Peace Prize winner basically begging the son of the president to please come and help invade my country so I can be put into power, and then I will give you all of the oil that you want and privatize the whole goddamn thing. I mean, just saying it right out loud. It could not be any more obvious. Here's Donald Trump talking about Maduro.
Asking why not have the Coast Guard stop them, which it is empowered by law to do. You know, this way you can confirm who's on the boat and ensure that they're doing what you suspect.
Because we've been doing that for 30 years and it has been totally ineffective.
No, honey, when they pull him over and they find drugs, they take the drugs away, fully effective. What the fuck are you talking about ineffective? Just blowing up anything that floats on the water, whether it's drugs or not, whether it's fishermen or not. What's effective about this? You're killing people on fishing boats. Seriously, man.
They have faster boats. Some of these boats are seriously, I mean, they're world-class speedboats.
Are you telling me that Venezuela has world-class speedboats that are faster than American ships? Get the fuck out of here. Get all the way the fuck out of here. America's got the biggest military in the world by far. $1.1 trillion this year for the budget for the military. Don't give me a line of bullshit telling me that Venezuela's speedboats are faster than American ships. Oh my God. They're so fast we can't stop them. The only thing faster is a missile. I'm just saying. I know we've got jets and helicopters and ships and Coast Guard. And no. They have these super fast. They go light speed on the water. It's almost impossible to even see them. They're going so fast.
But they're not faster than missiles. But we've been trying to do that for years. And so much of the drugs, 25-30% would come in through the seas. Right now we have, I would say, none coming in through the seas. In fact, I don't know about the fishing industry. If you want to go fishing, a lot of people aren't deciding to even go fishing.
So we're just sitting here chuckling about killing an entire fishing industry because they're afraid to go out in the water so they won't get blown the fuck up by your dumb ass.
Almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
What's the next step?
But it never worked. It never worked when you did it in a very politically correct manner.
What's the next step in this war?
What does that mean? Politically correct. Does he mean that using a Coast Guard vessel to block in one of those ships and then board the ship, which we have been doing for years, and by the way, it is international law. That's the way you're supposed to handle it. So international law is politically correct. I think that that's what he's going with.
cartels, and are you considering options? Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've.
Oh yeah, he's definitely looking at land. He's got CIA already in there. They've talked about it openly on camera. Yeah, we got the CIA in there.
At the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found. And that I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But we had tremendous amounts coming in by boats, by very expensive boats. You know, they have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big.
You mean they got more money than us? They got more funding than us? Really? These speedboats? They're billion-dollar speedboats. That's why we can't catch them.
And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives.
Horse shit. Every boat you knock out, you kill like a half a dozen or a dozen fishermen. Suck a dick, Don.
So every time you see a boat and you feel badly, you say, wow, that's rough. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people...
It's also called a war crime. Yeah, but yeah, you say it's rough. Don't shed a tear for me, Argentina.
And save 25,000 people. These are people that are killing our population. Every boat is saving 25,000 lives, and you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place. And it's a tremendous... We're saving...
Show me that evidence. If it's true, show us all the evidence. Prove yourself right. Have it out for everybody to see. It reminds me of how ICE is talking about how they're fighting against Tren de Aragua. Meanwhile, there has not been one Tren de Aragua shootout or one MS-13 shootout. ICE is going to fucking federal court and arresting brown people after they leave the courtroom because they're doing it the right way. But sure, man, make up some more bullshit.
Tremendous amounts of lives.
Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged...
By the way, the CIA is notoriously really good at keeping things calm and not overthrowing South American countries. Oh, they never do that shit. Brazil, Argentina, Bolivia, Venezuela, everybody, the CIA be filled with fuckery. And Donald Trump just sent them into Venezuela. Don't cry, Venezuela.
I do that, but I authorized for 2 reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America.
Horseshit.
They came in through the...
asylum?
Well, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy.
All right, look, you've heard everything you need to hear. I just wanted you to hear that he's just openly saying, yeah, we're sending in the CIA because reasons. Now, not everybody is in agreement with Donald Trump. This guy, who is very serious looking dude, man. These military generals and admirals, man, they have got, I don't know, 30 years worth of service and a scowl across their foreheads. This dude, I would not fuck with him. But anyway, this guy right here, Alvin Halsey, or Admiral Alvin Halsey, he says, man, we are obviously trying to escalate and go to war with Venezuela. I thought that Donald Trump was the peace president. That's why he wanted the Nobel Peace Prize so goddamn much. But he's the peace guy, man. He is completely anti-war, except for the war that we want to get into right now. And this guy, this admiral, is saying they are obviously trying to go to war, and I don't want to do this shit. Admiral Alvin Halsey abrupt departure comes less than a year after he took over as head of the U.S. military Southern Command, which oversees operations in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. The post typically lasts 3 years. Source told Reuters that there have been tensions between the 4-star commander and Hegseth, because Hegseth is a fucking TV soldier. He's Fox News C-Squad. He has absolutely no business being the head of the Department of Defense. I'm sorry, I apologize. The Department of War. So, of course, a guy who was a Army reservist is going to have a problem with a real military leader. Sources say that he's been tensions between the 4-star commander and Hegseth, as well as questions about whether he would be fired in the days leading up to the announcement. Well, he didn't have to wait. He didn't have to get fired. He quit because He's got concerns about the mission and the attacks on the alleged drug boats. Look, I have been saying this about the military. It's like, if you're in the military, just stay. Just stay in the military and drag your feet as hard as you can to do everything you can to stop Donald Trump and his warmongering ways. The peace president, who has bombed at least a half a dozen countries in the last couple of months, is now trying to start a brand new war. He wants to end war in the Ukraine and Russia, which, by the way, is not happening. He wants to end the war, I quote, air quotes, the war between Hamas and Israel. It's not a war, it's a fucking genocide. But if he manages to end that war, the military industrial complex is going to need a new war, man. We gotta find a place to drop some bombs. And Venezuela might be the place because they have all the oil. Yet again, America fighting a war over fucking oil. Now, it's not just us on the left that are criticizing Donald Trump for being a warmongering bastard. We got Rand Paul here, who is quite the libertarian. And that's one thing that Democrats or people on the left and libertarians, we agree on a couple of things. Like 80% of the stuff we don't agree on, but we agree on freedom of speech. We agree on anti-war stuff, and we agree on the bullshit ass war on drugs. And here we have Senator Rand Paul on fucking Newsmax calling Donald Trump's warmongering ass out on the carpet.
I think blowing up speedboats in the Caribbean, though, isn't necessarily the answer. About 25% of the time that the Coast Guard boards a vessel in the Caribbean looking for drugs, about 25% of the time, the boat that's boarded doesn't have drugs. So we've blown up 4 boats, statistically speaking.
It's 6 now, but anyway, go ahead.
What are the odds that one of the boats didn't have drugs? We haven't heard the names of who these drug dealers...
I mean, you're looking at all the explosions right now. How are you going to tell me that you have evidence of this shit? You're just shooting at boats on the open seas in international water.
How do you know for certain who they are before you kill them? So I'm not in favor of the current policy. I'm in favor of the continued policy on interdiction of drugs, which is that we do search ships, but that there's a methodical way about doing this and not just dropping bombs on everyone.
Yeah, well, I don't think that the host there really gives a shit about anything except for glazing up Donald Trump. But good on Rand Paul for actually speaking the truth. So it's not just liberals and lefties that are anti-war. It's also a handful of libertarians, which unfortunately there are not enough of those in the Republican Party to do anything about stopping or slowing down Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not the peace president. Donald Trump is a warmongering asshole. He increased drone strikes. He bombed dozens of countries. He is full-on military industrial complex ball coddler. All he wants to do is to make war and then go around and tell his people that he's Mr. Peace. After looking at this shit, how can you say that he's Mr. Peace? If you are a Republican and you have seen not just this year, but his past term, how can you say that he is a peace president? It baffles my mind. Seriously. I mean, the very first act that he did as president in his first term killed an 8-year-old American girl. He did not end any wars. He talked about ending wars, and now he's angry that Joe Biden actually ended the war in Afghanistan, and he wants to go back in there. What are you talking about, peace president? And now he is actively pursuing war with Venezuela over fucking oil. Anyway, this thing is heating up, and I am a bit concerned. We're looking down the barrel of another forever war over oil. It reminds me that in his first term, they did everything that they could to put Juan Guaido in power, who during the election got less than 4% of the vote, then came here to America, and in a State of the Union address gets a round of applause from not just Republicans, but also Democrats. Donald Trump calls him out. He is in the goddamn State of the Union, right there in the front row. has absolutely no business being there, but we were doing everything we could during Donald Trump's first term to overthrow Maduro, and we had our pick with Juan Guaido, and now we have our new pick in Maria Corina Machado to help facilitate our overthrow of the Maduro government so we can take the oil. Look, if you were saying that you were concerned about the American people and the drugs, okay, that's one thing. But when I hear you say, oh, I'm really concerned about the Venezuelan people, then why are you sanctioning the country? Why are you starving those people? You are trying to stop their only export so you can put the Venezuelan people in a place where they have no choice but to overthrow the government for us. All we want is Maduro out so we can privatize the oil industry there. And I think that with this Nobel Prize winner, Maria Corina Machado, in place there, I think they might actually get it. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.